Week 3, y'all. We're doing this. Okay, welcome. Happy new week. I'm here to recap. The last week's title was I Need Rest, and I still need rest. But we're moving on. It's a new week. I just got back from Puerto Rico. I was there for literally 7 days. So almost as soon as I uploaded last week, I was on a flight. But let's go ahead and recap what I did, what I learned, and what I felt. So what I did is I attended the second annual ROI Summit in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It was an incredible event, basically a week full of inspiring conversation, camaraderie, and connection with entrepreneurs and women just around the nation and the world that are just doing incredible things with their businesses. I realized that posting on the internet for 23 years and just being an entrepreneur for over a decade, I recognize when I'm in seasons or when I go in and out of seasons of needing to silo myself to just build and create and focus on whatever's in front of me. And then I also recognize the seasons where I need to be in community and around other people, women especially, who are doing incredible things. And I feel like I've been really just doing a lot of that lately, and it's been so beautiful. I've been getting so much affirmation and validation and confirmation that the path I'm on is the path I need to be on. And I genuinely can't wait to watch this in the future and just be like, Glow, you did it. You stayed true to who you are supposed to be. And one of the speakers was Tabitha Brown, and something that she said was just like, she said many things. It was like a 90-minute conversation full of wisdom and sincere advice to just help you out in life. But she said, it's okay to look at other people for perspective and, get some insight, but stick to your path. You're going to do things different because you're the one that's meant to be walking down that road. And anytime you start to feel alone or isolated by your journey, remind yourself that you are pioneering a path and creating a blueprint for what didn't exist. And there were people behind you or before you that needed to do the same to be able to allow you to see the vision that you currently see. We are living in the most privileged era ever. Let that sink in. The way we have access, AI, hello, the AI lucid glasses, the way we have access to AI and information and tech and resources that just make our life so convenient, the ways that the walls have been broken down, information is no longer gate kept. We can actually follow people's blueprints of how they did and achieved something. So yeah, just long story short, it was just incredible to be reminded that Glow, of course you're going to be confused sometimes. And of course you're going to be fearful that you don't see anyone living life and building a business the way you're building it, because you are meant to do it the way you're doing it. And not to get so caught up in the path of, or pursuing what is common, forgetting that you are supposed to be rooted in what is uniquely yours. So I just got a lot of confirmation that how I'm doing business and how I'm doing life is okay. Because I'll be honest, sometimes I'm like, well, I've been doing this for so long, I should have a big team by now. I should hire and I should be, working at scale. But I don't want that. And I'm actually not a CEO. I think I tried it for a couple seasons and I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy managing people because I can hardly manage myself. That's the truth. And I don't want to have that responsibility that takes me out of the creative zone of genius that I excel in. And there's a book, The Big Leap, that talks about your zone of genius, your zone of competence, and your zone of excellence. And staying in your zone of genius is where you get the most work done and where you feel the most fulfilled. I'm just going to continue operating in that. And obviously working with my fiance, Stefan, has been life-changing because he brings the operational and organizational structure that I have abandoned for so many years. And it's beautiful because he gets to stay in the lane that he's already good at and I get to stay in mine. And together we make a lot of beautiful magic. So yeah, it's really exciting. We are launching the second cohort or the second generation of the Life Leap company. And I'm so excited. We're going on our graduation trip. Well, it's a mastermind, but it's almost like a graduation next month with our first graduates. So it just feels really good. Okay, so what I did is, yeah, we worked on the website. I was in Puerto Rico all week, stayed with my friend Terry, who is just incredible. Check her out at tradeandtravel.com. And yeah, I just got to connect. And I just got to be offline. I think we forget that, you know, we're scrolling constantly, and social media is a part of like growing your business for many of us. And we can sometimes get lost in the vortex of like just doom scrolling and rotting. I learned that term of like when you just like rot your life away is when you're just like constantly scrolling or lounging or binging TV in your home, but not really doing anything productive. And yeah, I'm guilty of that too, like random times of the day. So that's what I did. What I learned is that I am deeply introverted. Oh my goodness, I am deeply introverted. And at this conference, yeah, I probably was recognized a little over a dozen times, maybe a couple dozen times. It was hard to tell because I think maybe some people could pick up on my introverted signals. Oh my gosh, vulnerability moment. Like, I was like a fake extrovert for so many years of my life. I don't know how to undo how people think I am in real life. I am a joyful person. And if you caught me on a random day, I'm probably like smiling, cheesing, walking down the street. And I'll probably greet a stranger. Like that's who I am naturally. I love to make people smile. Now, when it comes to exchanging energy for long periods of time, that's where I've gotten really selective because I am so intentional and intentionally generous and intentionally present with the people that I exchange energy with and go in conversation with. So I'm gonna probably ask like deep questions and I'm gonna like actually care. And if you have a question, I'm gonna give you a thoughtful answer. And that's just who I am at my core. And I think people can sometimes like want that version of you on demand and you're like eating or you're on your way to the restroom. you're like running to the car. Like you're in these random moments. And I think some people sometimes forget that you're a human just existing in the world first before you're this not even an icon, before you're this person that they discovered on social media. So I found myself, and this is kind of like weird to share, but this is supposed to be vulnerable and honest. I was hiding. I found myself like consciously hiding. And so Rachel Rogers is the person that started the summit. She is the founder of Hello 7, the company that put on the event. And so as a friend, she allowed me backstage access. So I'm like hanging in the green room and just like behind the scenes and behind the stage. And I found myself like retreating there multiple times throughout the event because I didn't know where else to hide and just be safe to be like left alone. And it's not that like, obviously you're in a conference, like you mingle, you talk to people, but I do so much of that intentionally throughout the day that there are some pockets where I just want to be left alone or I just want to process the incredible speech that was just given. I just want to review my notes or I just want to just sit and think. And I know sometimes like you can get really excited to see someone from the internet that you're like, oh my goodness, I need to tell them all the questions that I've ever wanted to ask them in this moment. And your excitement, of course, is like, it's sincere and it's honest. And we can like hold space for that. At the same time, recognize when we don't have the capacity to pour. And Lisa Nichols recently posted an interview with Lisa Bilyeu. Check them out. Impact Theory and Women of Impact. But Lisa Nichols said something like, I'm no longer pouring from my cup. I'm pouring from my saucer. And that was like, oh, I need to stop. I forget that I'm not editing these, so I can't cut out my weird ADHD noises. Okay, so you think of like a cup and the saucer, the little plate underneath the cup, and when someone's pouring and it overflows, it spills onto the saucer. And that is the overflow in which you're meant to give and pour from. And here I was like kind of trying to like, okay, well, I'm half full, but I'm also half empty. But with this half fullness, I think I have enough to give to this person and I have enough to give to them. And oh, I haven't seen them in years, so I might as well give a little bit to them. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go fill my saucer, because from my saucer, I can then pour from my overflow. And I also recognize that putting myself in these public spaces is also opening myself up to conversation and people. And all of that just comes with it. And mind you, I'm not that big. I'm not an A, B, C, D, XYZ list celebrity. I'm just a person on social media. So it still kind of like blows my mind that it's been a long time since I've gone somewhere and haven't been recognized. And it just contextualizes the reach and all that I've done to like get here. So it's just, yeah, it's almost like I'm in a new season of my life and a new chapter of my personal brand. And this version of myself, I almost have to reintroduce her to my community so that they know that this version is like fragile and like introverted and sensitive and just wants to kind of keep to herself sometimes. And yeah, she's also doing her best. She's healing, she's maturing. She's a little quieter, a little softer, but she's on a journey. She's on a journey. That said, I did have great conversation with a lot of women and it was beautiful and I'm so thankful for it. But I also wanted to like, I guess, offer that information. If you ever see me out in public and I look like I'm keeping to myself, it's probably intentional. But if you also see me like joyful and in conversation and just like excitable, if I look approachable, feel free to approach me. I mean, I'm always approachable, but I think it's like how you approach me. It's almost better to act like you don't know me. It's like if you just come up to me and say, oh, sorry, ma'am, do you have the time? I'll be like, oh, of course, yeah, because I'm in my, I can almost like recognize like, oh, I have capacity to give the time and I'm so excited that all they need is time that I'm gonna give them the best time there is. Oh my gosh, this is healing. I'm like recognizing, okay, so I'll be like, oh yeah, it's 6:30 p.m. and oh, I can't believe it's only 6:30 and wow, the sunset's gonna, and I'll probably like give you a good 2 minutes that you didn't ask for. But in that moment, I'm like, ooh, all they needed was the time. And I have capacity to give them more than the time. So I'll give you the time and just a little bit more to like make your day better or like to make you smile. So it's like, it's in those small moments where I have capacity to show up for people. Where I feel uncomfortable is when I'm asked questions or I'm almost like asked to coach people on the spot or just give them advice. And it's like, I do that. I've been doing that for over a decade. And there's still so much that exists that people haven't read or consumed. And even reading my old stuff, I'm like, oh, wow, that was good. I should repost that. And I also understand that like meeting someone in person is a very different experience from seeing them on the internet and they're just a part of your scrolling experience. But yeah, just remembering that like everyone is just everyone is human, everyone is normal. And everyone also has the, I don't even want to say the right for privacy, because it's not even that. Anytime you go outside of your home, like your right to privacy is like taken. So it's this weird space where I'm like, I didn't go to many conferences last year. I spoke at some and like I would stick around for those like smaller ones that I spoke at. And I really liked those events because when I felt like I was in an intimate, safe community, I could be all of me. But when you're in an arena of people, you don't know what kind of energies are coming your way. And yeah, it's just being mindful and almost like on guard, which was an interesting thing. So that was a very long rant session, but just wanted to like contextualize the lesson. And what I felt was, I will say a couple things. I felt full, and I also felt anxious. And I'm processing the two of them coexisting. I felt full from being poured into by my people, by my safe people who I've known for years and who have just like shown up for me in so many ways. I'm so grateful for the friendships that I continue to nurture and cultivate, and vice versa. Like, I feel so good about the friendships in my life right now. Like, I feel like this has been years in the making. Like, I was that solo dolo person that just like operated in a silo, didn't really need friends, could make friends easily, had people that wanted to be my friends, but didn't let people in. And I finally have been like letting people in, and it's been such a beautiful process. And also letting the right people in, because of course people can want to be your friend, but not for the right reasons. And I had to learn that the hard way a couple times. So I felt full from being poured into by the right people, but then also felt anxious from feeling the need to hide from those who I think saw me as a resource rather than a person. And I'm happy to take selfies. I'm happy to answer like quick questions. But if I'm attending a conference as like a student, or like I just want to like learn, because I'm always going to be a student. I'm always going to be learning. I'm always going to be investing in my growth and personal and professional development. So yeah, I just almost like wanted a safe space to just like exist. Yeah, and I also know that it comes with the territory, so I'm not complaining. I'm just inviting anyone who doesn't mind shifting their expectations of me, and maybe just lowering it if you meet me in public. This is getting quite sad. Okay, those are, that was it. That was what I did. That was what I learned and what I felt. And overall, I am amazed at how quickly this year is flying, and there's so much on my calendar in a good way. All of the titles so far have been like needing something. So last week I said I needed rest. I feel like this week I need silence. I don't know. I need almost, what's the word, like when you need to hide? Yeah, whatever it's going to be, you'll see it in the title. But I appreciate you all watching. I appreciate the comments. And what I really am enjoying about YouTube right now is the fact that it feels like its own private community. Like, you know, for the 100 people that watch this, it's really nice because it's like a small gathering of 100 people in like a community center or like in my living room. It feels very intimate and safe. And it's wild because social media is all about like growth and virality, and people are trying to like blow up. But like that's almost where you like start to get anxious and like lose yourself, because it's no longer just your people, it's now just anyone. So I love when I can start a social media platform from zero and just like remind myself that like, oh, it's safe in the beginning. Like this is where you can be your freest self, because the expectations that people have from other platforms are gone. And I'm just really enjoying this. So thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I appreciate you. Have a beautiful week ahead, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye.